I'm Jensen McRae. I'm playing some shows in London and I am here to answer your questions.
I wanted to know where your dream place to perform is.
My dream place to perform right now is the Wiltern, because that's in Los Angeles, which is my hometown, and that has been my dream venue for a really, really long time. But I also really am excited about playing like Brooklyn Steel in New York, Red Rocks in Colorado. Those are all like really big dream venues of mine.
If you could bottle a feeling and open it at any time, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, if I could bottle a feeling, honestly, I talk about this all the time with my friends. One of my favorite feelings in the entire world is the feeling right before you kiss someone for the first time. And you know it's gonna happen, but it hasn't happened yet, and you're both being really weird and awkward because you're both scared to do it. That's my favorite feeling in the entire world, and I would love to bottle that and have access to it 24/7.
Out of all your songs, which are you most proud of?
I'm proud of so many of them. I mean, White Boy was the first one that I felt like I ever wrote that really felt like I was the only person that could have written it. And then Wolves I'm really proud of just because of how much it's resonated with so many people. But I feel like of more recent songs, definitely God is a Hitman is like probably my favorite song that I've ever written.
I wanted to ask, I know that there's like a lot of biblical references in your songs and in your art, and in the context of like right now setting in this beautiful church, I wanted to ask how you feel the setting and context of your shows informs, or I guess is informed by your art, and whether or not you find where you choose to perform is really integral to the messages that you're trying to say and try to present through your art.
That's such an interesting question. I honestly have not considered like the context of where the songs are being performed in context with like the content of the song very much. There definitely have been times where I've played certain songs because I know they're going to resonate more like in certain spaces. But the presence of the biblical imagery in my art is purely a function of that I think biblical images are some of the most resonant. Like I wasn't raised like Christian at all. And I just think that those stories are like, they're universal for a reason. And so they've made their way into a lot of my music. But I definitely have been excited about playing some of those songs in a church because it feels like a particularly poignant place to play them.
How do you feel performing in a church? Is that weird for you?
And on that note, how do I feel about performing in a church? I mean, it's a little bit odd because like I said, I wasn't raised Christian. I was actually raised Jewish. And I do have like family who are Christian, and I have a lot of friends who are Christian, of course. And so it's like, not that I've never been in a church before, but it kind of feels sort of perfect because like the acoustics are amazing and there's so much rich history, especially playing in a church in London. Like being in the UK, being in Europe, like everything is so much older than it is in America. So it's really fun as a person who's obsessed with narrative and obsessed with storytelling to perform in a place that has so much history behind it.
I love like the sound of your like album and your music. So what are some like artists or albums that like inspired that to like sound and the production of the way that it sounds?
There were so many inspirations for my first album. I was listening to, of course, Phoebe Bridgers, huge fan of Phoebe forever. And Casey Musgraves was another person that I was listening to a lot when I was making the first album, specifically Golden Hour, like one of my favorite albums ever. Corinne Bailey Rae, like I said before, is like I'm a huge fan. I mean, I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, so always Taylor is an influence. Yeah, I feel like those were like a lot of I'm a huge Muna fan too, have been a fan of Muna forever. I don't feel like sonically like that was necessarily an influence, but like lyrically, definitely, and like the way that I perform vocally, I'm like a huge Katie Gavin stan, and like I feel like my vocal performance is very much like half Katie Gavin, half Adele. Like those are like where I feel like I draw so much of my vocal inspiration from.
Are you going to release the Richard Sykin song?
I love the Richard Sykin song. I would love to put it out. I feel like at some point I have to talk to Richard Sykin and his team and like see if that's allowed. But yeah, I finished the song and I really love it, and I would love to share a full version of it someday. But I don't know when that would be.
When is the next album coming?
It is coming. I can't say when, but it is coming. I have a release date planned and it is being made, but I can't tell you when that is yet.
What are your favorite places in London to write music?
Oh my gosh, my favorite places in London to write music. I'm trying to think of where I've like taken my guitar with me. I mean, generally I do really like writing in hotel rooms, honestly. There's something about being in a hotel, in the same way that like having a new instrument makes you write songs differently, being in a new environment makes you write differently. So being in a hotel where it's like really transient, you know you're only gonna be there for a couple of days, like I think that energy like really spikes my creative juices. So I haven't written a song in my hotel on this trip yet, but I'm confident that I will.
Hi. If you had to be a fruit, which one would you be and why?
Okay, if I had to be a fruit, I would be a plum. I feel like plums are very literary. I feel like plums are very mysterious. The dark fruit inside, etc. I feel like my family would say that I'm blueberries because I eat a lot of blueberries, but I think spiritually I'm a plum.
Starting to get to you.